And we're going to welcome Khara Woods, who's going to be doing our virtual artist studio tour today. I'm just going to introduce her and then I will pass it over. So Khara Woods is a graphic designer and artist from Memphis, Tennessee. Her work is largely inspired by geometric abstraction and pop art. She has experience creating murals and applying her knowledge of community engagement methods in various public art projects around Memphis. She completed her first data visualization mural, 30 by 19 basin portraits, in October 2019 through the Art and Environment Initiative, a program that was launched by the UrbanArt Commission and funded by Mural Arts Philadelphia. So welcome, Khara. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey everybody, thank you. This is so cool and I appreciate that it's laid back and casual and I love that. So thank you, Netanel, for inviting me to do this. This is so fun. So thank you, Caitlin, for the intro. Just to expound a little bit on that, I grew up in a very artistic, creative household. My mom's a professional artist and has been since I've been in the world. And my brother, my oldest brother, I have two brothers. My oldest brother was heavily into comic books and he kind of mimicked the style like DC Comics. And so I get a lot of influence from that. So that's kind of how my work it's reflected in my work, and I'm drawn to artists like Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein, if I'm saying the name right. And so geometric artwork is my thing. That's what I do, and that's kind of what I revel in. But so welcome to my studio. As mentioned, I'm an artist here in Memphis, Tennessee, and my studio is in it's close to downtown. It's considered downtown where I am, downtown Memphis, but it's known as the Edge District. In this district, there were a lot of automobile shops, and so if you get a chance to visit Memphis, that's what you'll see, a lot of car lots and the little stringers and things that they have on car lots around this area. So I'm going to do my best to pan the room and show some things off. Anybody can kind of chime in if you're not seeing what I think you should be seeing. So we'll do that. So here, I guess I have to turn it around here. So I hope everybody can hear me. I don't think am I on mute? Okay. So this is the entrance. I've got my collection of stickers here and got a bunch of wood donated to me from some local creatives. Haven't decided what to do with that yet, but this is on my list of many things to do. Got a ailing fiddle leaf fig plant here. If anybody knows what I need to do for this thing, please let me know. Maybe later I'll share my contact info. This is a wall of some ideas that I'm working on. This piece particular, let's see, sorry, it's so dark in here. But this is some wood pieces. I got some pieces cut with a CNC router at a shared arts making space not too far from here called Crosstown Wood Shop. And so I've got designed these pieces in Illustrator. I work with Illustrator a lot to do my sketching. And I've glued up some of these pieces together, but this is how they'll hopefully look in the end. And so we'll just swing around, have this huge picture window, I guess, that I love. I'm sorry, guys. I know my ankles are all over the place. Have this huge picture window that I love. That I can see the leaves and light shimmering in the background. It sets my soul at ease. And this studio is a mess, so please forgive that. But a few things in the corner here. I just did a solo exhibition at a university here, and I featured for the first time some of these small wooden sculptural pieces. I kind of played around with that, so that was fun. And here's a piece that was featured in the show. And I've got a bunch of wood, guys, because I love to paint on wood. Um, I like the color, the smell, and my last name is Woods. So there you go. I sometimes save these pieces of tape because the type of abstract work I do is known as hard edge. They, popularized in the 60s, and I like clean lines. So sometimes after I'm finished spray painting, I'll save the tape to collage on a piece later. And just more crazy stuff. Here's those pieces that I showed earlier. I've got them glued together. Okay, perfect. And that's the space.
That was awesome.
I know it was all over the place. Y'all are probably looking at the ceiling or the floor. My apologies. I do have a little slideshow. We don't have to stay on that very long. I know slideshows they are what they are. So let us look at that. I want to talk particularly about my relationship with Mural Arts Philadelphia, Mural Arts Institute, and show you guys the mural that Caitlin mentioned earlier that I completed in 2019, which is weird now because it's just before the pandemic hit. So I'm so glad I was able to get it done because that would have been stressful. But so let me share my screen. Give me just a minute here. Let's see, I want to do this. Share. Don't you just love when people narrate every step that they, okay. And let me see, I need full screen, don't I? I'm able to do that. Okay, can everybody see okay, so here we go. So we've already done that. Hey, everybody again. But yeah, so the Art and Environment Initiative with UrbanArt Commission, and they're a nonprofit public art organization here in Memphis. And I've worked with them through the years, and they've done a lot of public art projects throughout the city of Memphis. And so we, the project that I had with Urban Art and Mural Arts Philadelphia, Clean Memphis, and Memphis Medical District Collaborative was a project to address environmental opportunity in two neighborhoods here in Memphis, Uptown and Frazier. And my neighborhood was Frazier. And so we worked with residents and organizations to kind of find out what the focus would be. And for Uptown, the focus was litter, like small types of litter that you find on the ground, candy wrappers, things of that nature. And my job as the artist was to talk to residents, get their feelings on what they were seeing, and also to, at the end of it, take those comments, take that feedback, and create a public art project reflecting that. Here's the area, Uptown. I hate I don't have the little pointer thing now, but the long kind of dark lines in the green spaces, those are water basins. So my project was focused on the litter that would collect around those water basins. And you can see the building, we scouted, possible locations, and the building that we decided to.
The artist studio visits have really been interesting.
I'm sorry, I missed something. Let me turn this volume up. My volume is down low. But the building here, it was dilapidated, but it's a nice kind of focal point in the area, almost like a landmark. And it's right at the corner, so people could easily see it. And so we did some community engagement. I am an introvert. I don't necessarily like talking to people, but for this project, definitely being out in the community, doing one-on-one interviews and putting yourself forward and putting yourself out there was a necessity, and it stretched me a lot. So I really appreciate that opportunity. We started the project. Well, for me, the project started in November of 2018, and we had a schedule, of course, to keep up with, and I was kind of behind on how I wanted to represent all the feedback that I got from the neighbors. Traditionally, as you guys may know, murals, you'll usually see somebody from the community kind of pulled out and represented in some way, and I'm an abstract artist, so that was a challenge for me as well, is how to represent this issue in the community, and to do so in a way that was true to my practice, which is using bold shapes. I'm a graphic designer, using symbols, things of that nature. So I got a wonderful email of some data visualization murals done by different artists, thanks to Netanel, and I started doing my own kind of research around that online, and found these two women, Stephanie Posevec and Georgia Lupi, and they had this wonderful project where they would they would make observations about different things they did in the day, like how many times they stopped by a mirror, and they would mark that, and they would send these postcards back to one another over a year. And they actually have a book based on the project, and if anybody's interested in data visualization murals, I would recommend that you get this, because it's just filled with examples of the data they collected and sent back and forth. One lives in New York and the other one lives in London, I believe. So from that, I got my idea of what I wanted to do. This is another example, this necklace, Stephanie Posevec, she did let me get my words right. Take a breath too. Okay, so she collected data on air pollution, and over a period of time, I don't know if it was a month or so, my brain is failing me right now. But anyway, she made these pieces for a necklace, and each piece had a different weight depending on how much pollution was in the air that day. And she said that she wanted people to actually, feel this weight of pollution and in the environment. And I thought that was a great idea, and that led me to my idea for this mural was to take count of the types of litter that I found around the basins, and to represent that, since by a water droplet symbol, since water was kind of the main statement, the importance of clean water, and making sure, we watch where we throw things on the ground, because they end up in the drainage systems and they flow out to the Gulf of Mexico, into the oceans, and that sort of thing. Here's some of the litter that I found and took pictures of, different types. A lot of styrofoam just everywhere, and you could tell that this area was nearby a fast food place, because the bulk of litter that I found was like ketchup packets and things related to fast food restaurants. And I had a few events before the mural. We started to install the mural. One of them was a walkabout event, my last event, to collect data on the type of litter found nearby the basins, and I made my own little data collection sheet that you see on the slide, and that was fun, and invited people to come and helped me count and record. Here's some other projects. We did some stencils on the ground to bring awareness, and they had little messaging about litter and how litter flows and how we want to keep our watershed clean. And I also did an installation using wood that I cut out with a CNC router, and did some designs on that related to how much litter that we found in the different types. There was a legend nearby as well. And this is the final mural, and with the legend below. And at first, I had about, I counted about 1,400 pieces, and I couldn't put 1,400 pieces in this grid. So I forget the number now, but each droplet's probably like 10 or, represents 10 or so. And some of the categories included would be plastic, glass, and I believe there's a category for other as well. And then we had the dedication. The mural was finished in late September, if I'm not mistaken. We had the dedication celebration on October 18th. And since then, I've been busy with commissions. I'm working on a sculpture project for Memphis Medical District Collaborative. And this will be a suspended sculpture. I've got the acrylic pieces cut out already. We're just waiting for the park to get insurance. And then we can start the install on that project, but everything's been cut. Working on a commission piece for our airport here, and it's gonna be this wooden piece using the CNC router again, and then I'm gonna cut out some individual pieces and tack them on and give it kind of like a sculptural, make it a sculptural thing and not just a flat 2D piece. And I have a solo exhibition opening at Hilliard Museum. Well, the show is up now, but opening is September 10th. So I'll be in Louisiana to celebrate that. And that's it. I don't know. I hope I didn't take up too much time. Any questions or comments or show and tell? Thank y'all. I probably rushed through this because I'm super nervous, but anyway. Okay, so I'll stop the share. Let's see.
I'm just gonna say this is great. Thank you, Khara. I really appreciate. I know your concerns of like, we have an idea of what kind of murals are usually in public spaces, and like you creating your own language and creating your own piece, which is really beautiful and smart. So yeah, it was really refreshing to see. Thank you.
Yeah, that really just gave me so much freedom when everyone's like, it's okay if you don't, I don't draw people. I mean, I couldn't, I'd have to learn a whole new skill set. And so this was a way for me to stay true to my practice, but also get the message out that this was an area of concern, and there's possibly ways we can address this issue if we put our heads together. So I really appreciated everyone saying that is okay. You can do something abstract. It doesn't have to be representative. And I had a huge sigh of relief then.
Yeah, I also really loved like what you said about not wanting to like lose what it is that you do as an artist. And even though you're creating an artwork that's representative, like representing the community and a large population, you still wanted to be true to yourself and what it is that you do and what you make. So I think it's beautiful that you were able to incorporate your style as an artist and then also speak to the voices of the community. Because I'm sure having when you're doing socially engaged art, you're having everyone's influences, and that could probably be really difficult as an artist because you want to make everyone happy and please everyone while also still being yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I definitely agree. And with this project, this particular project was my biggest everything, biggest budget, biggest project, as far as the number of people I was working with, the organizations, the people that I talked to, the events that I went to. I went to basketball games and talked to folks. There was a place in Uptown, a restaurant in Uptown, and it was one of the anchors in the community, and I kind of would visit there, have a table, sit down and talk to folks from time to time. And so that was like my little headquarters, so to speak, in the community. But it was, the scale and scope of this project was humongous to me. I mean, I had never done anything like that before. So it was, at times, it's a lot of work. Public art is a lot of work, and it's very enjoyable, and the reward is big. But to be invested the way that you need to be to get the job done, it was so refreshing that I wouldn't be stifled as far as how to pull all these things together and represent it in a way that was true to what I was doing and what I was comfortable with. So I was really appreciative of that.
You know, Khara, I was really compelled by the way that you approach that challenge too. Like, I think it can be really challenging trying to find a point of entry for each individual sensibilities, you know, and style or what have you. And so, you know, you looking for like a data visualization, like a way of turning information into like two-dimensional pictorial elements is like a really brilliant way to kind of make a big leap, you know, and at the same time, like stay, you know, close to oneself. And it gives me a lot of ideas of ways to, you know, find strategy in subject matter and content, you know?
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Yeah, just having time to do some research was really helpful for me because it took me a minute. The other artist, Jamon Bullock, and I hope you guys can check out his work. He's amazing. He's working with an artist now from Philadelphia, you guys. Eric, I think it's Eric Oakday. Don't quote me on it. But they're working on a big mural for our airport. But Jamon, we're both different, but the community that he got, he lived in that community. So he's very familiar with the community. And he uses a representational style for his art, and he was just much better suited. And I just kind of felt like, I don't want to say a black sheep, but like no one else in our cohort, so to speak, did a data visualization mural. So I kind of like, oh, I'm the odd one out all the time. But it turned out so well, and people really appreciated it. They understood it. They asked questions about it. And I revel now that it's kind of one of those unique murals that we have in the city. So it all turned out. I was so, at the beginning, anxious, and I'm a worrier anyway. So I was like worrying times 10. But when I got the email of other people who had done something different, done like an abstract take on community murals, I was like, okay, we can do this. It's going to be great. I just had to kind of take my time, do the research, and then just dig in and lean on what I already was doing, what I knew best. And it worked out. It worked out. And I can't wait for, you know, I'd love to apply this sort of method to another project in the future. So we shall see. Anyone else? Oh, wow. Got a lot of time.
Talk a little bit more about like your experience of being someone who's introverted and, you know, having to go out and talk to large, you know, groups of people and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was kind of scary, to be honest, because I'm not naturally a person who, you know, never been the life of the party, and I'm not naturally a person who's good at small talk either. But I knew that I had to, I had a task to get done, and it was going to be impossible to figure out what people wanted to see if I didn't talk to them. So I had to stretch myself to do this. I went to, I remember a dinner they had in Uptown right before Christmas, and that was a nice experience because people were in a good mood and they were drinking wine, and so it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't hard to pull information out of them, and so I got a lot of nice feedback during that event. But it was one of those moments where I just had to do what I had to do. Like we got good tips on what to ask and how to ask. So we had enough resources that I could kind of lean on and kind of look at ahead of time to help myself get more comfortable in that space. But and it's just not life, but if I could do everything in the background, I would. That's just my preference. But sometimes in life you have to step out, you have to be in front, and that's okay too. But so I dealt with it the best way I could, and but it's just not something that comes natural to me. I'll say that.
Yeah. Thank you. It's I'm more so of a shy person as well, so it's really good seeing that someone who's introverted can also do this.
Yeah, it's possible. Sometimes it's painful, but it's possible. Let me make sure. Okay.
Khara, I'm really curious, like which by the way, I'm a super duper introverted person as well. And I feel like you can usually tell when I'm nervous because I talk a lot faster, and I just go on and on and on. But it's sort of the inverse in kind of like group settings where it can be challenging to figure out how to enter and kind of put yourself out there. But having had that experience at such a magnificent scale, no less, and then with something that's like so at the core of a community, but also represents a global issue, I'm like wondering, are there any things that you're curious about or challenges you kind of want to take on now, like just if you could, even if it's not realistic?
Wow, that's a great question, Jared. Thank you. Ooh. I would love to revisit like some of the things that I found in my collection was there was just so much fast food junk. Like I think I would love to revisit, even if it's something that I just do personally. Like, is there a link? What's the correlation? Like, there were some apartment complexes nearby one of the drainage basins, and everything over there was like Subway cups, the little bags from Subway, McDonald's, packets, sauce pack, everything. And then I started to think about, well, this isn't like the best diet either. So I don't know. I'd love to maybe one day investigate the correlation of this pollution, this litter, and like fast food restaurants being in your neighborhood. Like, is there something there? Maybe more questions, or is there an answer to something there? So that's probably what I would do. And I'm holding. I've got so many ideas about things, but that would be another, I think, a nice data visualization project. Maybe a blog or something like that. I don't know.
That's exciting. Thank you for sharing.
So perhaps. So do we have all muralists here, or just students, or just people interested in the arts, or art appreciators?
Yeah, there's a few muralists here in the group, as well as
Hey,
artists and appreciators. they're actually about to go on their Artist Catalyst program,
Ooh.
and we'll be creating a mural with Mural Arts and with their partner city. So I don't know if you want to talk about what that process was like for you, or if they have any questions specifically about what that is like. But
Well,
doing that.
I would just say they're in good hands, of course, because anytime we needed to reach out to Dave, Kathy, Netta Nelson, and I still have it like this. You sent us a budget worksheet. I have everything. I'm like, oh man, I'm not getting rid of this. It's so funny when so I started my first mural in 2015, and I did it with my mom. Actually, it was like the craziest experiences. It was like in the summertime, it was really hot, and I always wanted to do a mural and didn't know where or how to start. And sometimes I go out and I take pictures of old signs and stuff in the city. And one day I went out and saw a big mural on the side of this dilapidated building, and it had on the bottom corner the artist name and IOB. I'd never heard of IOB, but it's in our backyards. It's what it stands for. Maybe you guys are familiar with the organization, but it's like a crowdsourcing platform that you can use to get things done in your community. IOB helps you to raise money, and sometimes they match what you've raised. And so I used that for my first mural in my neighborhood, and it was a super fun experience. But I was given a printout from someone who was helping me, figure out how to install the mural, but it was from Mural Arts Philadelphia, and that's like the first time that I saw anything about the parachute cloth method. And I held on to that thing for so long, and then 2018, I see this call for qualifications to apply for this opportunity to do an actual mural with the organization, and I had this little workbook all that time since 2015. So anyway, that was a nice little link that I don't think anybody knew. So, and now I'm here. So it's just funny when you hold on to things, you may not use it then and there, and then later on. So I keep everything. So I'm a hoarder and I'm an introvert.
Run, but I just wanted to say out loud, thank you so much, Khara. It's always such a pleasure to see your smiling face, and your work is awesome. I love it, and congrats on all of the commissions and everything.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you as always.
Okay, and thanks everyone for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye. So yeah, so the process was, again, like I said, this was like the biggest project for me, and but we got a demo from, and I am forgetting Dave's last name, but he's done like humongous murals for Mural Arts Philadelphia, and I believe he is a director or something there with the organization. But he showed us how to do the parachute cloth method. I didn't end up using that, but that's another technique or method I'd like to use in the future. But everybody was super helpful. They, like I said, went over the budget with us, helped us to kind of get our ideas organized, and helped us to scout out a location for the mural, and gave us so much information on how community engagement is done in the most effective way. So I never felt like we didn't, have a safety net, because we had plenty of resources. I think the thing was just getting over my own kind of fears and anxieties about, and most of the things that I was afraid of didn't even happen. So it's just me being anxious and worried about the project, because the scale and scope was so huge for me. But I was really in good hands, and so everything worked out.
Well, I just wanted to chime in and just also say how awesome your work is and what a pleasure this has been to have the studio visit with you today. I love this idea of data mapping. Is that the term you use? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I think.
No, what was the term you've been using? I'm sorry. I think
data visualization.
That's it. Data visualization. Let me get this straight. Yes, data visualization. And just really, it's just incredibly detailed. Your whole process, and I just really appreciate the simplicity of the outcome. I think it just makes it so digestible for people. So appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I had so much fun with it, and it's just a wonderful way to kind of interpret, your findings and how to express it. So with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in knowing, you probably said this, maybe I just missed it, but what did you all end up doing with the painted litter? Did you all do something with that?
The painted litter?
Yeah, oh, maybe I thought that the litter you all painted on as well. Maybe I just made that up in my head.
No. There was we did the stencils on the ground, just
okay.
Bring awareness to the project, and then we had some wood that I got cut out with a CNC machine, and we painted little wood shapes. So
okay.
Each droplet on the fence kind of represented the type of litter we found and how much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Khara. I have a question. Sorry, my camera's off because I'm sweating hardcore. It's like here and it's really gross. But I wanted to ask, just how have you approached with your own personal practices and trying to be more just like environmentally aware? Like I know that looking through your studio, you always try to like recycle and use the materials as most as you can. But even beyond that, have you found ways to make like your own paints? I know this is like hardcore and it's like kind of unrealistic and like there's no true ethical consumption under capitalism, XYZ, but like, I've really been trying to like figure out ways to where art is like good for like the environment. For example, like I know I did like a chalk event and the chalk was made out of like cornstarch and food coloring instead of like the chalk, buying the chalk itself and the plastic that comes with it, XYZ. Like I was wondering if you've found ways to do that sort of stuff.
I have not as of yet, but you bring up a wonderful topic about sustainability, and it's definitely something that I'm open to doing, and something that I need to research myself. But besides using, I mean, I do use a lot of wood, and when I got this studio in 2016, and decided, well, before I'm gonna do art professionally, but when I first started, I would only use wood that I found like on the street that people had discarded, if they were doing a home improvement project or something like that, especially during the summer, there's always like wood on the curb or something like that. I would take those pieces and use that to paint. Nowadays, it's kind of a mix of both. If I see a nice, piece of wood that somebody's, got on the curb to get rid of, I'll definitely scoop that up and use it. Or I'll, just go to Home Depot and get some boards. But it's definitely something that I would like to do, but have not put it into my practice as of yet. But great question. definitely something we should all be aware of. I don't have any music. I feel like I should have some music playing in the background. I'm trying to think. I kind of showed you guys these books, but let me take this. Would probably be good if I could take this little sticker off. But these are some like great books, even if like they're filled with pictures. And this project was like a year long between the two artists, like sending postcards back and forth to one another. And it's Dear Data, and there's a second book that kind of, if you want to, oh, I don't want this thing to fall over. Observe, Collect, Draw by the same artists, Loopy and Posavec. If you guys are interested in doing a data project on your own, great kind of resource. And I forgot to mention there was a documentary that I watched when before I started with this mural, and it is, let me see if I get the name of the documentary. Wasteland. So there's a Brazilian artist, and I believe he's in New York now, but Vic Muniz or something. I'm so terrible with names, sorry. But the movie is Wasteland, and it was about the largest landfill in the world was in Brazil, and they may still hold that title, not sure. But he took pieces of litter from, well, would it be litter at the landfill? He used junk at the landfill and made art out of it, and also the people who kind of manage the trash and use them for art projects too. So that was a pretty inspirational movie to watch if you guys are interested in that.
Yeah, that was a great movie. They also showed a lot of instruments that were, matter of fact, I thought that movie was so great. I bought the DVD. I'm like, I gotta keep
really
this.
Good.
You know, it really was an awesome exploration, you know, of repurposing. And I think even to the notion of we have what we need, you know.
And then too, he celebrated those people who, I mean, for their, I believe they collected some of the trash and may have sold it, but if I'm not mistaken, but they would walk on these like piles of trash to find things to sell. And he did portraits of some of those people using the trash. So it's a great documentary if anybody's interested in watching it. See if I had anything else that I wanted to share with you guys.
Hey, Khara, I also had another question.
Yeah, sure.
So, for example, the data that you've done, I was wondering if like you did any outreach cross-culturally on like the meaning behind it in various like immigrant and refugee households even that possibly you engaged with.
No, not for this project. I'm trying to think of the Uptown neighborhood. I mostly talked to, I don't remember talking to any immigrants in this particular neighborhood. We do have pockets of immigrants in certain neighborhoods in Memphis, but not in Uptown.
You know, Khara, I'm not sure if you spoke on this earlier, but I was curious about like just some artists that you look to that you really enjoy their work, or like people whose work you see and you're like, oh, I got to get back to the studio.
Oh my goodness. There's a million of those. Oh my goodness. This is one of those questions where when you're asked, your brain goes blank, but I know a ton of people. Who locally? There's so many people locally. Chuck Johnson is an artist here in Memphis. Love his work. It's abstract as well. Oh, there's a guy who is also a graphic designer and a visual artist. He's an Italian artist, and he uses a primary palette. And I kind of, when I look at his page, I'm like, oh, I want to do something like that, because he's doing soft sculptures with his work. He's doing Nike shoes. He's doing socks, like all kinds of stuff. But I love his simplicity, and his name is Marco Ogian, I think, or something to that effect. Love his work. But there's a million. I could, be here all day with y'all.
Sure. Well, thanks for sharing. I'm gonna look up Chuck
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yes, check out Chuck. And man, so many people. Because I follow so many people on Instagram and always try to keep up with it.
I also hate to keep firing off, but I do
Please, go
sometimes.
ahead.
I was curious if you had like a website or a social or something that you could share with us so we can check out your work.
Yeah, so my website is my name, KharaWoods.com. There, it's trash right now, so it needs to be updated. But I keep my Instagram account updated with like the latest thing I'm working on, and so you can find me at Karaoke, and the O is spelled with a 0, but I'll put it, you know what? I'll put it in the chat. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can. Yeah. And that's my IG. I try to update that at least monthly, but the website needs an overhaul bad. So
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing. This has been awesome.
Thank you guys. This was so very fun. And I'm so happy that it was just something casual and I could, just kind of chill, even though I'm just a high strung person anyway, but it was really nice.
Thanks, Khara, so much. Appreciate you being here. So inspired by you, your work so much. So is there any other final questions before we let everybody go for the evening? All right. Cool. Well, I think we'll end here. Thank you so much, Khara.
Thank you guys so much. I enjoyed myself immensely. And just, reach out and say hello sometime. Got my handle in the chat over there.
Yes, we'll hit you up. And I just wanted to remind everyone that our studio tour tomorrow is going to be 2 hours. We'll try to have a little break, but we're going to be doing an actual kind of like workshop studio situation. So come prepared to make some art. Everybody's invited, including Khara, if you want to come back. It's going to be super dope. So I just wanted to remind you, it's going to be 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I will see you tomorrow though at 12 Eastern time.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.